I own a heap of BHP shares, and on the surface, it looks like I'm down about $1,500. Ooh. And if I'd done what most traders do, just bought them and held on to them, the buy and hold strategy, then yeah, I'd be sitting on some massive losses right now. But here's the thing, if you've watched other videos of mine, you'd probably realise I don't just buy and hold, and it's the same with BHP. I've sold a bunch of options over BHP, and I've also collected dividends. So with BHP, while on the surface it looks like I'm down about $1,500, I've also managed to pocket about $2,800 along the way, so I'm in profit. So let's have a look how I was able to turn this, what otherwise looks like a losing trade, into quite a profitable trade. Let's dive in. This is looking at the close of trading on Friday. Friday just gone. Today's Monday the 11th of August, so this would have been Friday the 8th. And we can see that the market closed up. My overall portfolio was up about $1,300 for that one day, which is nice. I'm just having a look at today's market, being that it's 9:45 a.m. here in WA, the market's open, and today I'm up close to $4,000 just for today. So that's nice too. So we've had a couple of up days, and today's looking quite good too. Taking a look at Friday's close, you can see that it says here that I've paid $43.77.9 for BHP shares that are now worth $40.21. And it says I'm down $1,500, $1,513.26 overall, $1,513.26. So the difference between $43.77.9 and $40.21 is $3.56.9. $1,513 divided by this $3.56.9 is 424. So I have 424 BHP shares. When you have a look here, it says 0. But that's because I've got them in another area of my trading account as reserved shares. We'll jump in and have a quick look. You can see here as I jump over into a different area, I have 424 BHP shares reserved with a market value of about $16,904 or so. So yes, I have 424 BHP shares. On the surface, it looks like I'm down about $1,500, but I'm not, and we're going to have a look why. So 424 shares, as you know I have. I paid $43.77.9 per share. That's a cost to me of $18,562. That's how much 424 shares of BHP at $43.77.9 would cost. Today, well, Friday, those shares were trading at $40.21. So 424 shares at $40.21 is $17,049. So the $18,562 that they cost me, less the $17,049 that they're worth today, is a loss of $1,513. Ouch. Okay, but here's the thing. I didn't just go out and buy 424 shares of BHP all on one day. I bought them in 2 lots. I went through all of my recent trading transactions and I backdated it right back to July 23 to today, or in this case Friday. It showed every trade that I did. And then I did a search and said, show me everything that relates to BHP. And you can see there's only 2 records. Meaning, in all my historical trading since 2023, there were only 2 times that I bought BHP. So here's the first time, on the 15th of August 2024, which is about a year ago. I purchased 200 BHP shares for $42.51. And then the next time was here on the 21st of March of 2024, where I purchased 224 BHP shares for $44.60. And as you can see, these are reversed. This was the first time, this was the second time. Because obviously if I'm searching through a list of transactions, show me BHP, it's going to show me the last one first and then the first one second. So this was the last time I bought BHP, 200 of them on the 15th of August. The first time I bought them was the 21st of March, 224 of them, which lines up exactly as I said here, 424 of them for a total of $18,000. So let's track these 2 purchases. As you can see, 21st of March in 2024, I purchased 224 BHP shares for $44.60 per share. That's a total cost to me of $10,025.35. And that cost is after brokerage and costs. That's my actual out-of-pocket expense. $10,025.35. Then on the 15th of August 2024, I purchased an additional 200 BHP shares for $42.51 for a total of $8,536.95. There they are there. 15th of August, 200 BHP shares, $42.51 for a total of $8,536.95. Add those two together, it's $18,562.30. $18,562, rounded down. Now, as you know, according to this, based on today, Friday's share price, I'm down $1,500. But of course, owning the BHP shares for well over a year, as I have here, obviously I would have collected dividends. Let's have a look at that. Now, if you have a look at the dividend pay dates, or more importantly, the ex-div date, meaning that's the day you've got to be holding the shares to qualify to be paid the dividend, you can see down here that we had an ex-div date on the 7th of the 3rd, 2024. We had one on the 12th of the 9th and the 6th of the 3rd of this year. So 7th of the 3rd, was I holding the shares on the 7th of the 3rd last year? No, because I didn't buy my first lot of BHP shares until the 21st of the 3rd. So I would have missed out on that dividend, but I certainly would have got the dividend payments from holding the shares past the 12th of the 9th and of course the 6th of the 3rd of this year. So these two dividends I would have definitely got, and that is $1.11 and this one here 79.1 cents. And given the $1.11, the ex-div date was the 12th of the 9th, which is September, I would have owned all 424 BHP shares around September because I bought my final 200 BHP shares in August. So I would have qualified for the September dividend as well. So I would have got paid on 424 BHP shares. I would have got paid $1.11 and I would have also got the 79.1 cents. And here it is here. Here's the $1.11 or $10.999. The ex-div date is the 12th of the 9th. The pay date is the 3rd of the 10th. Here it is here, the 3rd of the 10th, 3rd of October, $1.11 or so. That's exactly what I got. 424 shares, $1.11, paid on the 3rd of October last year for a total of $470.63. So I got paid $470.63, and then the other dividend I would have got would have been this one here for 79.1 cents, paid on the 27th of March this year. So we've purchased the shares, but let's deduct the dividend income. So on the 3rd of October last year, I got 424 times $1.11, which is the $470.63. That's that. And then of course on the 27th of March this year, I would have got $424 times 79.1 cents, which is this one here. 27th of March, 424 shares times 79 cents. That's a total deposited into my account of $335.36. So let's add that as well. 27th of March, 424 shares at 79 cents is an additional $335.36. Add those two together, that's $805.99. So let's now go back to this equation. Yes, we're down $1,500 on the total BHP shares that I purchased and what they're worth today, Friday, but I've also received $806 in dividend income. So take that away from the $1,500. Now I'm only down $707, not $1,500. Is this making sense? Let me know in the comments if this is making sense to you. Okay, so that's just the dividend income. Now we've got to take into consideration the option premium that I've collected along the way as well. Because as you know, I'm an options trader. If you've watched some of my previous videos, you would know that I don't generally just go out and buy shares. Like this 21st of March last year, did I just randomly go to the market and say, hey, give me 224 BHP shares, please? 224, that's an odd number as well. No, I wouldn't have. I would have purchased these shares because I was probably exercised on a put option that I'd previously sold. Let's have a look. So I went into my options trading transactions journal as well. So you know how I went into my portfolio and said, show me every BHP trade I've done, and there was only 2 of them? Well, I also went into my options trading account and did the same thing. I went back to July of 23 and then said, show me every options trade I've done. And then I typed into the search, show me the BHP ones. There was 14 of them. So in the same time that I purchased BHP twice, I also did 14 options trades on BHP in the same time. Let's have a look at those. So the very first one I did was in February of last year, the 27th of Feb, where I sold 2 put options with the expiry date of the 21st of March, for $44.60. For that, I collected $359. So I basically gave someone the right to sell 200, or in this case 224 because they were European style options, 224 BHP shares. You can sell those to me for $44.60 on or before, or in this case European, so only on the 21st of March for $44.60. But for that, you got to pay me $359. Look at the date, 21st of March. Look at the exercise price, $44.60. Look at that. 21st of March, 224 BHP shares for $44.60. That was because I was exercised. So I didn't just go out and buy 224 BHP shares for $44.60 on the 21st of March. Well, I did, but it was because I was paid $359 back in February, the month previously, for someone to be able to sell their BHP shares to me for $44.60. So let's now start adding up this option income that I've received. So on the 27th of February 24, I sold 224 BHP put options for $1.76 for a total of $359. 224 for $1.76, $359. This is after costs. This is how much I actually receive directly into my pocket. $359. There it is there. Now when you look at the BHP stock chart from February, in this case the 22nd of February or thereabouts of last year, BHP was trading at around about $44.30 to $44.80 or thereabouts. So I could have just gone and bought my 224 shares from the market for $44.70. But instead, I said, no, I want someone to sell their BHP shares to me within the next 4 weeks, or on the particular date here, the 21st of March, a month later, for $44.60. Now, at the time, nobody was going to sell their BHP shares to me for $44.60 if they can sell them at the market for $44.96. So I collected $359 for that. Now, when you come forward in time to the actual day, the 21st of March, you can see that BHP's trading had opened at $44.06 when as high as $44.15 and as low as $43.43. So the opportunity for someone to sell BHP to me for $44.60 is good, because the highest they could have got on the day was $44.15. That's why I got exercised, because it was a better opportunity to sell to me for $44.60 than it was to sell to the market for $44.40. So that's where I bought my first BHP shares, 224 of them, because I was exercised on the option that I'd sold the month prior in February. Please let me know that this is making sense. Leave me a comment below. If you need me to clarify something, let me know and I'm happy to do so. Okay, so as you can see here, searching through my transactions of BHP trades, options trades, on the 21st of the 3rd, so the 21st of March, I was assigned. That simply means here I sold the right to have BHP put to me for $44.60, and here I was assigned that option. Okay, so now I've been assigned these 224 BHP shares at $44.60 on the 21st of March. So now I'm thinking on the 27th, which was only a few days later, I'm like, I've got 224 BHP shares. It cost me about 10 grand. I paid $44.60 for them. Why don't I give somebody else the right to buy these shares off me for $45? And I'll make 40 cents a share. Great. If they don't buy them, fine. I get to pocket the premium. And in this case, it was $128.76. So in other words, I said, you can buy these BHP shares off me. In this case, it was only 200. So I get to keep the 24 shares and sell 200 of them. And I actually did a whole video on this as well. Have a look in my channel. I've got a video where I did this actual trade. So I sold 200 call options, which is the right for somebody to be able to buy shares off me, not sell them to me. 200 of them for $45 each. On the 16th of May, it expires. And for that, right now, I got paid $128.76. Cha-ching. So we add that as well. 27th of March, I sold 200 call options for 82 cents each for $128. 82 cents each, $128. Rounded it down. So there's another $128. Now remember, that expires on the 16th of May. So on the 16th of May, is anybody going to come and buy my 200 BHP shares for $45? Let's have a look. There it is there. 16th of May, you can literally buy BHP for around $44.50 or so. So you're not going to buy them off me for $45. Back here when I sold them, that might have been a viable opportunity. And if the market had have kept going up and here around $46, of course you're going to come and buy mine for $45. But on the expiry day, you're now given the opportunity, do you want to buy BHP off me for $45 or do you want to buy them off the market? You're going to buy them off the market. So that option expired worthless, meaning I got to just keep that $128. Nobody exercised their right to buy BHP off me, and I move on. So that expired on the 16th of the 5th, which is May. 16th of May last year, that expired. So on the same day, I'm like, okay, I'll write some more. Because that option expired, I no longer had any obligation to sell any BHP shares to anybody. That's done and dusted. So on the same day that that expired, I wrote another 2 contracts, giving somebody the right to buy 200 BHP shares off me for $45.48. And for that, I collected 79 cents per contract for a total of $141.72. So let's add that. We'll round it down to $141. That's 79 cents, 200 of them on the 16th of the 5th. So there's another $141 for that trade. Now that expires on the 20th of June last year, which is the 6th month. Would somebody come and buy 200 BHP shares from me for $45.48 on the 20th of June? Not a chance. Back here where I sold them, yes, they may have thought this was a good opportunity, and there were times when buying BHP off me for $45.48 was good, but not on expiry day. So they expired on the 20th of June. So the day after that, the 21st of June, I wrote another option contract. I'm like, hey, I want to collect some more BHP shares. And in this case here, I said, somebody can sell me 200 BHP shares for $42.51 on the 15th of August. This was in June. So this is a couple of months forward, saying, okay, it's now June. I'm thinking, hey, this is a good opportunity to buy some more BHP if I can. I'm like, hey, you can sell me 200 BHP shares for $42.51 in this case, 51 because it's a European style option. And you can sell your BHP shares to me for $42.51 in August. But for that right, I want you to give me $180 right now, $180.76. So we add that up on the 21st of the 6th of June. I sold 200 put options for $1.08 each for $180. 200, $1.08 each, $180. These options expired on the 15th of August. Does that date and number look familiar? Well, it should do, because I got it signed. What does that mean? 15th of the 8th, 200 BHP shares. Remember this? 15th of the 8th, 200 BHP shares for $42.51. There they are there. $42.51, 200 of. I got it signed. That's how I bought my second lot of BHP shares, 200 of them. Now at this stage, I'm thinking, happy days. BHP is falling in price. I want to buy some more. So on the 22nd of the 8th, a few days later after I got assigned these other 200, I'm like, hey, sell me another 300. I'm like, sell me 300 BHP shares for $39 per share on the 19th of September. And for that, I collected $120.62. $120 on the 24th. 300 of them for 52 cents, $120. Now, these options expire on the 19th of September. On the 19th of September, am I going to get exercised? Is somebody going to sell me their BHP shares for $39 each? Not a chance. Okay, back here, when I sold the put options, yeah, they would have. BHP was trading at about $39. So that option expired worthless, and I just got to keep the $120. So then on the 23rd of the 9th, I sold some more. Again, this case, put options, 200 BHP shares for $38 per share, and I collected 72 cents per option contract, times 200 after costs is another $108.76, or $108. Okay, so on the 29th of the 9th, I sold 200, 72 cents for $108. And these expired on the 21st of November. So on the 21st of November, is somebody going to sell BHP to me for $38? No, because they can get about $40 from the market. They're not going to sell to me for $38. So on the 3rd of December, I sold some more put options, again, giving somebody the right to sell their BHP to me. And in this case, 3 contracts for 300 shares for $39.51, expiring the 16th of January. For that, I collected $126.62, $126. The 3rd of the 12th, I add it to the ongoing option income. So again, 3rd of the 12th, on the 16th of January, when that comes around, is somebody going to sell 300 BHP shares to me for $39.51? No. Close, but no. It went as low as $39.84, so $39.51 is a little bit off the mark. So of course, no, I didn't get exercised. So I just get to pocket and keep the $126 and move on to the next trade. So again, on the 16th of January, I sold some more put options. In this case, 2, so 200, giving the right for somebody to sell 200 BHP shares to me on the 20th of March this year for $38.51. For that, I collected $148.76. $148, 200 at 92 cents. This one expires on the 20th of March. So again, on the 20th of March, when that rolled around, is somebody going to sell their BHP shares to me for $38.51? No. Again, very close, but on the 20th of March, at expiry, BHP was trading somewhere between $39 and close to $40. So $38.51, obviously I'm not getting exercised. So then on the 7th of the 4th, April, I sold another 200 put options with a $33 strike price, which expired on the 15th of May, or are expiring on the 15th of May. I collected $214.76. So 7th of the 4th, $214. 7th of the 4th, $214. Now again, the question is, on the 15th of May, is somebody going to put their 200 BHP shares to me for $33 each? No, because they're trading somewhere between about $39, $39.36 or thereabouts. So putting them to me at $33, that's never going to happen. So then on the 24th of July, just gone, and this is an interesting one. Have a look at this. 24th of July, I sold 4 BHP contracts for $41.50 put options expiring the 7th of August. And I collected $196. So in other words, I'm saying, hey, you can sell 400 BHP shares to me on the 7th of August, which is literally on the 24th of July, 7th of August, literally like 3 weeks away. You can sell your 400 BHP shares to me for $41.50, but for that I'm going to collect $196 right now. There it is, $196. Again, look at the numbers. BHP, 400 of them for $41.50. Well, guess what? It looked like I was going to get exercised. When I sold these on the 24th of July, BHP was trading for about $41.40 to $42. So $42, I'm like, hey, will you sell your BHP shares to me for $41.50? I know they're $42 right now on the market, but I'll give you $41.50. You give me $200. Seemed like a viable opportunity at the time. But then, as you can see here, BHP shares started declining in price, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to get exercised. They are going to sell their BHP shares to me. So I rolled this contract. What that means is I bought these options back. So remember here I sold on the 24th of July, I sold BHP DX8 for 58 cents. And I collected we'll call it $200. So BHP DX8 for $200. Well, here I bought 4 BHP DX8 for $1.55. Ooh. For $650. So on the surface, it looks like I've just lost $400. But what I've saved myself from doing is being exercised, because BHP was falling round to about $40, and I'd given somebody the right to sell them to me for $41.50, 400 of them. So literally I'd be sitting on a $1.50 times 400 is $600 loss. I'm like, oh, I'm about to buy shares that are worth $40 on the market. I'm about to buy them for $41.50. So I'm going to be locking in a $1.50 times 400 shares loss straight away, $600. Ooh. So instead, I buy those options back. That takes away the obligation for me to have to, be exercised on the BHP contract. Now these cost me $655. Remember, I sold them for $200. So $655 minus $200 is only $450. So that's a $450 loss rather than $600. But it's not, because what I'm doing here is I'm rolling the options. And what that means is, originally I sold the right for somebody to be able to sell their BHP shares, 400 of them, to me for $41.50 in August. I bought that back. Then I sold a September expiring $41.50. So all I'm saying is I'm rolling. I'm saying you could have sold your BHP shares, 400 of them, to me in August, but I've changed my mind. You now can sell them to me in September. So I've rolled out to another month. And for that, I've collected $956.48. So keep this in mind. I first sold these for $200. Check. I bought them back for $600. And then rolled them for $900. So I've collected $900. I've collected $200. I've spent $600. So I'm still in front. So let's add the option purchase, where I had to buy these options back. The ones I sold for $200, I bought back for $655 on the 6th of the 8th. And then let's also add that I then sold the further month, in this case September, for $956. That's this trade here, expiring the 18th of September, the 9th month. I collected $2.48 times 400 for $956. $2.48 times 400 for $956. Now, let's add up all of this option income that I've received. And that totals $2,676. Take away the option purchase, where I had to buy these options back, those ones there, where I bought them back again. $2,676 minus the $655 that I spent to purchase the options back. That's a grand total of $2,021 that I've received in option income over the 12 months that I've owned these BHP shares. So if you remember, I bought BHP twice in the last 12 months or so, just a little bit over 12 months. 21st of the 3rd last year, I bought 224 of them for 10 grand. On the 15th of August last year, I bought another 200 of them for about 8 grand for a total of $18,562. Today, or Friday, BHP were worth $40.21 for a total of $17,000. Looking like on paper, I've lost $1,500. Now, if I was a buy and hold share trader or investor, where literally all I did was bought BHP and I'm still sitting on them, yes, I'm sitting on a $1,500 loss. I would have received the dividend income of $806 or thereabouts. As a buy and hold investor, I'm still down $700 because I've bought the shares, I've received dividends, that's it. So I'm sitting on a $707 loss. Ouch. But because I've also sold options along the way, I've collected an extra $2,670 and I've spent $655. So I've collected a net of $2,021 in sold options. So I'm actually sitting on a $1,313 profit. As a buy and hold trader, investor, yes, I'm sitting on a $1,500 loss. Less my dividends, I'm sitting on a $700 loss. But to me, because I'm also trading options and selling put options and collecting premium, I'm actually sitting on a $1,300 gain. Now, if I'd have just gone out and bought all 424 BHP shares on the 21st of March last year, I could have bought them for $44 each. That's what they were trading for. So I would have spent $18,656. Today, they're worth $40 each. I'd be sitting on a $1,696 loss, less the dividend income. I'd be sitting on a loss of about $900 as a buy and hold investor. But instead, as you can see, I've traded and sold a lot of options and collected $2,600 less the $600. I've collected $2,000. That's $2,000 over and above what a buy and hold trader or investor would have got on the same trade. So when you look at it in percentage terms, I've actually made about $1,300 profit, even though on paper it looks like I'm sitting on a loss. Now $1,300 divided by the $18,560 that I've spent to buy the BHP shares, I'm literally sitting on about a 7.1% gain, which is nice. And that's if nothing else happens, meaning BHP flounders around 40 odd bucks, I'm sitting on a 7% gain. But that's based on Friday's price. Now let's have a look today. Right now, my share portfolio is up about $3,700 just today. Now when I look at today's prices, I can see that BHP is up another close to $300 today, because the trading price today wasn't $40 like it was on Friday. It's up, and I'm up another $300 because BHP's up 1.77% today, because here was Friday's price, today's Monday, so it's up again. So that $1,300 would actually be, if I took a snapshot today, closer to $1,600 or so. I'm up. So instead of being up 7.1%, I'm actually up close to about 8.8% or so. Let me know if you found this video useful and you got something out of it. Again, let me know in the comments if you want me to keep producing and making these videos. And I really appreciate some of the comments I've received already. A lot of you guys have said, hey, yeah, I love these videos, keep going, they're great. And yeah, honestly, that does keep me going. And a couple of people have said in the comments recently, oh, Brent, you haven't posted for a little while. Yeah, unfortunately, life just gets busy. And as I've said in the comments to a couple other people, I'm in the process of renovating a house. It's about 100 kilometers away from where I live now. I've had this house for about a year. Well, actually over a year. And it's just sitting empty. And the objective is I'm actually going to move into it eventually. My wife and I are going to move into it. So I spend a fair bit of time up there building and renovating. So that takes up a fair bit of my time. And I enjoy making these videos, and I'm happy to keep making them. Let me know if you're enjoying them and you're finding them useful, and I'll keep making them. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. Let me know in the comments if you got something out of this video, and I'll see you in the next one.